And so it is. Dear Shambhala, we come to the end of this Quantum Leap series, firmly grounded in the new energy. Oh, still so many changes and transformations that will go on for hundreds and hundreds of years on Earth. Yours will be shorter, of course. But when we first started talking about the new energy and new consciousness many, many years ago, it was a theory. We knew it was coming. You could feel it coming. But none of us knew how it was going to unfold, how it was going to begin entering into this consciousness of Earth, how it was going to begin participating, co-participating, even with the old energy. We said recently that a measurement on Earth was taken a few months after the Quantum Leap celebration to see where human consciousness was, to see where you were, so that we could draw forth the tools to serve you. And so you could draw forth the tools to help work with other humans. Today we know that new consciousness is here. Not just a concept, not a philosophy at all, but it is actually here on Earth. There are those of you who are actually starting to work with it, one particle, one piece at a time. It is very unusual in a way because it acts nothing like old energy. It is very frustrating in another way because you have certain expectations just with the word new or consciousness, but it doesn't even behave according to those terms of new and consciousness. It is causing many, many changes in your life and changes all over Earth right now. But it is here. We come to the end of the Quantum Leap series, fully knowing that you have expanded your own consciousness in ways that you're not actually conscious of yet. You've brought in resources and energies and aspects of yourself and future potential aspects, and you're divine. You're creating a grand party, a celebration of your life here on Earth. For I, Tobias, it is the most interesting and the most beautiful of times. What a unique opportunity I have to be sitting in front of you like this, with my consciousness, not in human form, but in spirit. On the other side of the veil, which is only a half a breath away from your reality, to the point where we can talk so clearly with each other, and I can feel you so clearly. What a beautiful thing is that I have a physical body on Earth already, preparing to come into that physical body in just over a year. My shouds with you are numbered, but I say that in joy. It is not a death, it is actually a birth. It is not me saying goodbye or parting ways with you. It will be me joining you on Earth. What a time of beauty in my life, such that I can truly say I never really experienced this incredible balance and the ability to be here with you in spirit, the ability to have a human body already here on Earth. I'm finding that there are so many things that I want to say, so many things I want to remind you of, because in reality I'm saying them to myself. I'm saying them to Sam. We're doing this together. We're writing this book, creating this film together, however you want to look at it. I'm doing it with you. I'm also doing it for Sam, for me, as a reminder. It's going to be what brings me back to myself, for it is so easy to get lost in the confusion of mass consciousness. It is so easy to forget who you are and to become so engrossed in this 3D physical world and then pretend that's all there is. These very materials that we're creating together are what Sam will discover. He loves going on the internet. He loves roaming around the knowledge base, the wisdom base of humanity right now. And don't you know that someday, in the not so far off future, Sam is going to stumble across a word that resonates with him, that mystifies him. He won't initially remember or understand why it has an impact, but it will hit him like an incredible opening. The word Shambhala. He'll see that one day on the internet. He'll find his way to you. He'll find his way more than anything back to himself. I've admitted to a group of Shambhala in the past that this is an interesting time for me because as Tobias and even as Tobiwa, the soul being that I am, I'm getting a type of seduction myself. Being pulled into this earthly reality, the psychic magnetism of this dimension that you exist in is so strong. You think that the gravity, the earth forces is strong? The psychic gravity that pulls even the most evolved soul being into this very dense reality and causes them to forget who they are. It's overwhelming. I can feel that draw, that seduction. And as we talked about in our last gathering, I'm not resisting it. I'm not denying it. I'm not fighting it. I'm going to go the other way. I'm so going to immerse in it. Allow myself to be in it. So deep in it that will cause the understanding that it's not all there is. You see, the resistance of your human self and the human condition is one of the things that causes confusion and causes you to forget who you are. It's an amazing, simple physics that takes place. Because there's part of you, the angel, the soul being, the high consciousness being, that even right now is resisting. Resisting this thing you call the human condition. Part of you is pushing back on it. Part of you is saying, but if I totally surrender to this thing called myself in 3D reality, then surely I will get lost. And that is the very thing that helps you to get lost. By immersing fully, by letting yourself go deeply into this, you actually then remember. That is what I, Tobias, am doing right now. Interesting side effects, because I can feel at a spirit level what you would call a bit of amnesia taking place. There are days when even on the other side, sitting with Adamus and Katumi and the others, that I feel myself slipping. Like all the gears aren't there meshing together. I find myself one moment sitting at my cottage, working with you, and the next moment, I'm Sam. A very interesting dynamic that's taking place. And I have to say, it is truly one of the most beautiful experiences if you're not resisting it. I'm allowing myself to feel the fullness of the human experience. I have to add something here that I want all of you to feel this next month. There is nothing like the beauty of the human reality of Earth, of this three-dimensional existence. Now, I know some of you think to yourselves, but the beauty is in the heavens. Oh, and it is beautiful. Say the beauty is in the crystalline realms. Oh, and they are unimaginable. We say the beauty is in the ability to be free of the body. And that is true to a degree. But true beauty in the fullest way, and beauty that encompasses physical reality, beauty that takes all of your senses into play and involves them, and beauty that is felt deep within the soul and can be experienced in a physical body, can only be found on earth. The truest beauty that I have ever experienced in all of my lifetimes on earth and all of my times between lifetimes, I can truly say that the beauty is found on earth. Earth has its challenges and difficulties, but these are illusions, dear friends. They are just illusions. Duality is just an illusion. Fear is an illusion that plays into the grand beauty of life. The beauty is right here. So many humans are missing it. They have blinders on. They have gotten themselves in such a goal mentality. They're always looking somewhere else for the beauty, and always assuming that it is somewhere else. But I can tell you right now that true beauty, in the greatest form found anywhere in the universe, is right here. I know. On your difficult days, it seems like anything but beauty. It seems like stress and fear and uncertainty. But imagine if you can stop trying to push those things away as well. Stop trying to run from fear. Stop trying to control the old human aspect. Stop worrying about what's going to happen. You're going to begin to appreciate a true beauty of life. Stop worrying about things like death. Death, as we talked about in our last shout together, death is beauty in itself. The experience of honoring and thanking the physical body in your last moments. The experience of remembering everything you've done without judgment or without blame. That is beauty. And the release of the physical back into your more spiritual state. What a beauty. But what compels the spirit to keep coming back here to earth? What compels it to have lifetime after lifetime? Some would like to say karma. Some would like to think it's because there are deeds unfinished. Some would like to get you into believing that you have to right the wrongs of the past. But what if there were no wrongs? What if there was just beauty? That is what compels a soul to create another incarnation and another experience. That and that alone. It's time to get off of this old concept of sin and karma, retribution. It is time to once again, accept the total beauty of life. I would love to do a separate shout just on the beauty. I'm seeing things now from both perspectives, from the spirit and from the human. I'm sensing through the eyes and the ears and the touch of a human. I'm also feeling through all of me as spirit. What a great gift you have given yourselves to be on earth right now. What a time we all live in. Today's shout is a bit different. I'm going to invite in our guests in just a moment. I'm going to bring the energies together per your request. Let's start with our guests on this day and allowing their full energy to be present in this sacred space, this safe space, in this mini dimension that we've created. We've told you before, you can create dimensions just with the imagination. Some are temporary, some go on forever and ever, others take on a life of their own. Every time that we do a shout together, we create a dimension, and what we do with it is entirely up to you. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gatherings of Shambhala all around the world. Every one of them lives on as a dimension. Some are out floating around. Others are very grounded and anchored here on earth. These dimensions take on the appropriate attributes, whether it is time or space, whether it is wisdom or consciousness, many of the other attributes that can be assigned to a dimension to serve a purpose. We create a dimension right here, right now, with a very beautiful purpose. Let us invite in the energy of Albert Einstein, who will be joining me later for questions and answers, but who's very much a part of this shout on this day. Einstein was known for his brilliance, but not so well known for his incredible intuition, his wisdom that went beyond the mind, and a physics that is not known on Earth right now. Einstein was known for some of his brilliant formulas, but he was not nearly so acknowledged for his ability to travel beyond the beyond. When Einstein traveled, he didn't do it with his body. He did it with his consciousness. He didn't take his mind with him. He allowed his consciousness to travel into the other realms, into realms that haven't been created yet, into the physics and the beauty of the unknown, of the multidimensional realms. And when he returned from his incredible travels of consciousness, he retained less than 0.001% of anything that he ever felt or learned out there. But it was enough. It was enough retention of information and wisdom that it inspired consciousness and inspired knowledge for humanity in general. So he comes in, he's been very, very active on Earth right now. He comes in to share this special time, this special message today. So please, with the breath of acceptance, please welcome in our dear Einstein. We also welcome in the energy of Johann. Johann was the being formerly known as Metatron. Johann evolved beyond the old energy of Metatron, evolved beyond what you would consider a metallic or possibly even a mental, Because the consciousness of humans on earth expanded to accept things like intuition and feeling and heart energy. Metatron was known as your voice and spirit. And now Yoham is known as your spirit in this reality. Your spirit in the material practice. Your spirit present in your life today. Yoham couldn't be considered one of the purest and highest energies, but yet also one of the most personal. The energy of Yoham is the former essence of Metatron that was a go-between you and what you would call your higher self, you and spirit, you and the heavenly beings. But you don't need that go-between anymore. You don't need the middleman. So the very essence of Metatron changed and became Yoham, which is your tool for you to use for your personal ownership, for your personal I am. Yoham is very, very present today, glowing in the golden colors, bathing each and every one of you in love and compassion, and what you would call a type of strength. But actually, strength is nothing more than knowingness. Strength is understanding who you are and understanding no being can ever take that away from you, ever, anywhere. On a personal note, we're also going to invite in on this day, some of you especially, the energy, the spirits of the pets that you've had and loved and have gone beyond. Some of you have lost quite recently. Some lost these dear ones a long time ago. We know this is a personal message for some of you. They don't die and go away. You know the greatest service for a pet that was dearly loved and accepted? The greatest service is to be there to greet you when you cross over, to welcome you home. You know what it's like to have a pet that the moment you walk in the door, no matter what kind of day you've had, their tails are wagging. They are so ready to be with you. They are so happy to see you. There's nothing like it. Dogs in my existence of Tobias go way, way back. There's always been a dog in my story. And I'm not talking about my wife. I'm talking about... I have to laugh, Shambram. So often I hear, I'm just going to clear the record right here. So often I hear, of those who claim to have been my wife in a lifetime that I had as Tobias. I have to say, she is not back on earth, thank God for earth. Now, St. Germain claims that's why I am scurrying back to earth, because she's roaming out here in the realms, and I'd rather be on earth back in the body of Sam than potentially run into her on the other side, but it's just speculation. So, dogs in my life. Pets, dogs play such an important role, and as we have told our dear Michelle yesterday, that they're the ones that are the first to be there greeting you when you come back over to the other side. Sometimes, no matter what it can be a bit of a shock going back over. Beautiful, but sometimes a little bit disconcerting. But the moment that you feel or see your pet just waiting for you, that's all they're doing, just waiting. Or they're patient. They're having fun on the other side, but they're waiting for you. So we'd like to invite into our gathering today for the first time pets as guests into the gathering. If you've lost a pet, can't find a pet, even if it was one from your early childhood years, let's invite them to come in today to be with us as we do this shout together. I'd like to do this shout in 3 parts. Part 1 is our opening discussion, just amongst us as Shaumbra. Part 2, we would actually like to reinitiate. After we gather together the energies of all Shaumbra who are here in person today, the ones who are listening in, perhaps, and the ones who will read or listen at a later date, the ones who know themselves today by the name of Shaumbra. We're going to ask that we bring all of our energies together in a moment for a special message. This message will be from each and every one of you personally. From you and you and you and all of you listening in. Remember, in our shout very recently, St. Germain talked about proclaiming who you are. I am a new energy teacher. I am here by choice. I am here choosing life, and I am here as a guide, as a teacher for those who are ready. Because of the overwhelming response to that shout, because of the acceptance that you have now as yourself as teachers, we would like to gather together all of the energies of Shaumbra today, each and every one of you, and compose a letter to the awakening humans. Most of this information, obviously, is going to be things you already know and things you already experienced. But you realize, Shaumbra, how many humans are out there right now going through an awakening process and not knowing what it is. One day, they have their foot on the gas pedal. The next day, the foot on the brake. How many humans there are out there who are praying each day for guidance, for help. But because of the state of duality that they're in, they cannot hear us. They would think they're going crazy if they began hearing voices in their head. They wouldn't necessarily even dare to listen to some of the shouts that we've had in the past because the energy alone would cause them great difficulty. We have evolved with each and every one of you to what we would call a very high energy level. It could be overwhelming to the new. In the second phase of this shout today, we would like to gather together, if you are willing, each and every one of you, so we can put our energies of love and compassion and guidance out to the humans who are waiting. His message, from when we start to when we begin, that specific message can be put in a text form and put out on the wind. Can be put in an audio form and put out on the wind. Can be put into simply a packet of consciousness and put out onto the wind. The wind can be the internet. The wind can be a copy or a broadcast. Wind can be a discussion, but you've said you're ready to be new energy teachers. Now, let's put our message out there. They are waiting. They are confused. They are going through a process that you began lifetimes ago, and they are just now getting into it. The ones who are going through awakening can also be the crystals who are just coming to this earth for the very first time. And it can be very confusing, overwhelming. And through the wind, through the message that we send, they can find this thing called consciousness and new energy. They can find this message that helps make sense out of their own awakening. We keep ourselves, those of us in the Crimson Council, very busy working with Shaumbra. We hear the call from other humans, but they don't know even who to call out to. So many of them are in psychological disorder, physical imbalance, spiritual chaos. So let us gather our energies together today, accompanied by Johann, accompanied by all of those in the Crimson Council, by Einstein, and by your pets who crossed over. Let us take what you call the essence of Shaumbra, the essence of yourself, the essence of this journey. Let us together write this letter to awakening humans. We're going to ask Andrew to come up and do a few minutes of breathing, and then we will re-begin with the "and so it is." And this will be the message. Please join in together for this.
So in this moment, as you settle deep into you, know that you are receiving, adding to, and empowering this amazing moment. Breathe so deeply. This breath that is our breath, the Shaumbra breath. Breathe it so deeply now. Now as you say yes. Yes. This exquisite breath. The breath of one. One moment. One love. One. Breathe so deeply. Down, down. Yes, for without you and your breath, the one would not be complete. You are such a treasure. Breathe deeply now. Breathe deeply. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it is. Dear friends, we have heard your call. We have heard your prayers. We have felt your pain. And we know your confusion. That is why we bring this message to you. It has found its way to you on the wind. It's found its way to you through your processes. You might call the internet, through a friend who has given this to you, or perhaps strictly what appears to be at random. But we have heard your call and your prayer. We have come to answer. I am Tobias of the Crimson Council, an angelic order that's here to work with teachers of consciousness, both on earth and in the other realms. I join together today with the angelic beings who come from a place of love and compassion to support you and to love you. We also bring together this message from a group of human angels. They're in human form on earth right now, but they are indeed angels. They have been exploring consciousness and spirit and God for eons of time. They are physically embodied on earth right now. They could be your next door neighbors, your family members or friends, perhaps people you don't even know, but they are on earth right now, serving as a new type of teacher and a guide. They have been exploring the realms of new consciousness and new energy and the whole concept of I am, which means spirit, God integrated with self on earth right now. We gather together the energies of the angels, of spirit, and of this group on earth called Shambhala to bring this message to you in answer to your call. You're going through an awakening process right now, and that is why you have received this letter. And the awakening process can be one that's challenging, it can be deceiving, and it can be beautiful, all at the same time. You know you're going through a spiritual awakening process when you begin to question things that you've never questioned before. Things like authority and structure. When you begin to question why you're here on earth, what is the meaning of life? What is it that you should be doing right now? You know you're going through an awakening process when the way you solve problems in the past doesn't seem to work anymore. You know you're going through this entire awakening process when you know that there's more out there, but you can't seem to put your finger on it. You know there's a greater way, but you don't know what that is. You know you're ready to go into a whole new level of living and understanding, but you don't know how to get there. You know you're going through an awakening process when you feel yourself withdrawing into you, when you feel yourself starting to not want so much external activity, when you don't need the stimulation or the drama that you've had in the past. You know that you're going into the awakening process when in your quiet moments, perhaps late at night, you call out to God, not knowing if there even is a God, at least in the old way. You call out for the higher being or the higher power somewhere out there. And you give a message totally from your heart, from the truest part of your being. Dear Spirit, dear God, I'm ready. From the truth of your being when you say, Dear Spirit, dear Eternal One, I am willing to do anything, but I don't know what it is I should do. You know you're going through an awakening process where all of the old beliefs don't seem to be so true anymore. And the things that you held so near and dear to you now seem like memories of the past, ways of the past. You know you're going through an awakening process. When the things that used to be the dreams and the goals, the desires of the human self no longer truly matter, but you don't know what matters anymore. If you're listening to this, or reading this, or been touched by it in some way, we're here to tell you that you are not alone. There are angelic beings on our side who are with you right now. Not some time in the future, Not some time in the past that you don't remember so well, but right now. And with a simple breath, your simple breath, it opens the doorway for us to be close to you, to love you, to remind you of your angelic origins, to let you know that we have the greatest compassion and love for you. You are not alone. With a simple breath in this very moment. It also allows in the love and the compassion of tens and thousands of humans on earth right now who have gone through or are currently going through a very similar process, the awakening of spirit. They know what it's like to lose those things that were near and dear to you. They know what it's like for their belief systems to be challenged at every level. They know what it's like for the things that came from the material world that were important at one time that start dissolving away. They know what it's like to lose a relationship, or at least the illusion of losing it, so that they, and now you, can begin to have the relationship with yourself. With a simple breath, you can open up and allow yourself to not be alone anymore. We know it's been difficult and challenging, and we know so much of what you've gone through is very emotional and at times can be very dramatic. We know you've been trying to figure it out in your mind. You've been using systems and structures and methods, and you still haven't found the answers. You've tried to analyze it, and it's something that can't be analyzed. It can only be felt and experienced. You've gone, many of you, and got counseling, professional or just with friends. And you know in your heart that the methods and the words that they tell you are not truly fulfilling that deep inner yearning to know yourself and to know the Spirit in yourself. We know that there are times when you just want to disappear. You just want to fade away. It's not even about dying. It's just about going out of existence. The challenges, the transformation, the changes can be overwhelming to the human and to the mind, to that aspect of you that has a type of blinder on, that doesn't see who you really are. It can be overwhelming and cause such duress that you choose just to go out of existence. But the angels that are with you right now, and the human angels that are standing alongside of you, understand your journey. They have some messages for you today. First and foremost, that you are not alone. Secondly, that the process you are going through is actually quite natural. It may appear to be confusing and you may feel that you are lost. But what you are doing is very natural. You are allowing the old human facade and the illusion of who you thought you were to fade away. And as it fades away, what you begin to know in the deepest, most loving level is yourself as God also. Yourself as spirit. Yourself as divine. No longer limited by the old human identity, but now understanding that you are eternal, that you are grand, and that you can choose your own reality, even how you live on earth right now. Those of us who gather around you share with you that all of the answers are within. They're not to be found with some gurus. They're not to be found with some angelic being, but the answers are within you. Living in this state of duality as you have been doing, living with the concept of light and dark, good and bad, masculine and feminine. We've also bought into a belief system that says the answers are somewhere else, but indeed they are within you. They come from the most true and the most precious place within. They can be discovered in the quiet moment, in the moment of breath, in the moment of acceptance of yourself. We share with you that there is no goal, there is no purpose, there is not some God in a far-off heaven that is putting you through some maze or some obstacle course. But the reality is, everything in your life is about your creation, your discovering of beauty, your discovering about the depths of reality. Everything that you are experiencing right now in your life is by your choice. There are no outside powers or beings who are making you do it. There is nobody dictating the destiny of your life. You'll discover that it is all by your choice. Perhaps at some very deep or distant part of yourself that wanted to have the experience of going through life as you have known it up to now. But understand it is you creating it. And when you understand that, and when you take ownership for yourself, you will actually begin to understand the beauty of your journey. You'll understand that you are not lost at all. You were just so deeply immersed in an experience, so filled with the richness, even if the richness was painful at times, but it brought new depth and meaning to your soul. So on this day, in this moment, in the awakening to your true self, it is a time to say goodbye to your old human self. You've been trying to hang on to it and repair it and resurrect it. And now it is time to say goodbye to that human identity, to the limited beliefs, to the old paths of karma, of the old progression of lifetimes that kept you on the old merry-go-round. It is time to say goodbye to that. Part of you may feel sad about it. It is a death of consciousness, not a death of the physical body, but a death of consciousness. But as you say goodbye to the old self, you also release energies that were stuck or wounded, energies that don't serve you anymore and haven't served you for many, many lifetimes. As you say goodbye to your old human self, you discover a new freedom. It is like taking off a costume or a suit of armor that is no longer needed. When you release the old human aspect, when you say goodbye, you're now creating a space within you to allow in the grander self, the divine self, your angelic self, who's been patiently waiting off in the wings, waiting for you to finish playing this wonderful game or experience, waiting for you to make a choice, to invite the true you, the divine you, into this reality now. When you say goodbye to your human self, it brings up issues of fear, of death, and of losing control. Dear friends, those are all illusions. When you let go of who you thought you were, you now make room to be everything that you truly are. There is that feeling that you're in right now, that if you let go, you will fall into some perpetual dark abyss, never to come back, never to be found, perhaps even just roaming throughout the dimensions and the universes, lost. But this group of angels that's with you right now, a group of humans that is with you, have all gone through the experience. They all understand when you let go of who you thought you were, when you trust yourself on the most intimate, on the most beautiful level, you will now discover who you really are. This is your choice, of course. It is up to you. But you've called out to us. You've prayed to us. You have asked for the answers. And that's why we have showed up today. In the awakening to your true self, you also say goodbye to the earth as you have known it. Many call earth Gaia, the land, the water, the skies. Gaia is an actual spirit that has attended to earth, has been nurturing earth, all of her elements, all of her animals, and all of her forests, ever since the beginning of time on earth. In the awakening to yourself and the releasing or the saying goodbye to Gaia, you understand that it is not another spirit's responsibility to take care of this planet. It is your responsibility to be a part of it. The spirit of Gaia is slowly leaving so that you, all other humans, can take responsibility for the water that you drink, for the land that you walk upon, and the sky that you see with your eyes, for all of the plant life and the animal life. What a blessed and beautiful experience it is to thank Gaia for all she has done, to bid her for farewell, and to now accept the responsibility of this planet for yourself. In the awakening that you are going through, it's also time to say goodbye to human consciousness as you have known it. It will never be the same again. Recently, Earth moved into a new era and a new realm. We call it the new consciousness or the new energy. In this new consciousness, all things change. The Earth, human consciousness, and humans are evolving right now. The change that you see outside of you could appear to be chaotic. It could appear that things are unraveling, everything falling apart. It could appear that there are shortages of critical goods. It could appear that things are on constant edge. It's time to let that go as well, because humanity is going through an incredible transformation process. They're going through important changes. And what appears to be a lack of fuel and oil is actually more about new developments in technology, new energy sources. Instead of using old fossil fuel, the discovery of new fuel. What appears to be shortages of food is really about taking a look at how to take care of the biology in a new way, how to feed it in a new way, how to grow crops in a new, efficient, and natural way. Changes in governments, changes in politics are all part of the process. It is easy to go into fear and worry about what's going to happen to the world right now. But this group of angels and this group of humans, they know it's just evolution. They know that the change can appear to be chaotic, but the natural law of evolution and expansion are at work right now, and you're participating in it. It's about saying goodbye to the world as you have known it, even in terms of finance, prosperity, and wealth. For oh, so many years on earth, the wealth, the power, the money was focused in just a few places and held by just a few people, or consolidated in a few countries. And in the new consciousness, that imbalance no longer works. So the wealth, even the balance of what you would call power, are redistributed. It doesn't mean anyone gets any less. It just means those who were behind now catch up. The world's not falling apart. The world is evolving. The world is redistributing. The world is becoming more balanced and equitable. In the awakening process, things can appear to be dark. Things can even appear to be evil. Things can appear to be very confusing. But we are here to tell you that it is just evolution. The world will go on. The new energy will come in. The new understandings of science and math, understandings in technology and education are all coming about right now. The awakening process can be lonely because it is about rediscovering who you are without having others tell you, without having others' belief systems shape and create your life. We know you've been going through a very dark and lonely and sometimes very sad part of your life, feeling so lost and confused, like no one's listening. But these angelic beings and human beings want to let you know we have heard. We do know who you are. We do know what you've been going through. We want you to know that you are never alone. Your process of awakening will continue to unfold. And as it does, you will see the beauty in it. You will see how you, as a divine being, have actually planned it for yourself. You will see that the fear goes away, the illusions of duality go away to be replaced by the knowingness of the oneness. We bring you this message today from the angels, from the humans, and from all who are going through the awakening process, that you are not alone. And so it is.
You.
So, dear Shambhala, hi, Tobias. Coming in now with the last portion. We'll still be gathering and collecting all of the energies from our message to those who are awakening. Well, it's not just going to be the words that are in print or words that are in audio. For those who have called out for this message, they're going to feel you. They're going to feel your love and your compassion and your sharing. It's going to actually help them get out of their minds, help them open up to that part of them that they've been struggling with, that they've been resisting. You see, as you know from your own awakening, there's a part that you want so much, and there's a part that you resist so much. You ask for the awakening, but you fear the awakening. And that dilemma, that conflict, is what causes so much of the pain and the uncertainty. It causes and has caused you, as you remember from the past, you get stuck. Some will call it sitting on the fence. I call it just getting stuck in a no man's land, somewhere between old energy, consciousness, and the awakening. Together we have woven in all of your experiences, all of your wisdom, all of your compassion and love. And now let's put it on the wind. Let's put it out as a potential or tens of thousands of potentials. Let's put it out, radiating to any human right now who calls out in need. Let's put it out without agenda, without expectation. We're not trying to convert anyone to anything. We're not trying to recruit members. What we are doing is sharing our love and our experience, sharing that teacher part of us, reminding them that they are not alone. Some will accept it. Perhaps many will reject it. But those who accept it will go in deep. It will go in clear. It will give them a new hope. And you say, Tobias, how come this message wasn't out there for me? How come I didn't get this? Well, we could get into some interesting physics, perhaps, that Einstein would like to explain in a bit, but you just wrote this to yourself. And so it is.